Here we are at the second house today in Osage Beach. You can see we got a great deal of brush and stuff up there. We'll get that drug off. But there's a ton of lichen and moss and algae growing on this roof. And we see this a lot. He's got a lot of tree cover here, but he just had a bunch more of it taken out. And if I could give anybody advice on the best thing they could do for their house is get the trees away from it. Not only is it a fire hazard, and you got ice storms and stuff like that to worry about around here, but it keeps the roof wet and it keeps it shaded, which is about the worst thing you could possibly do to it. Even these trees, I would get these things out of here, but I know it's not cheap to have trees removed. But best thing you can do is cut those trees down before you build your house. Another concern when it comes to your roof looking like this, besides obviously it's not very attractive, it's not very attractive to your insurance company either. And especially if you're changing policies or changing companies or trying to get a policy, they'll come out and inspect your roof, and if it looks like this, there's a great chance you won't get much coverage or any coverage. You could get canceled. So, you know, just another reason to keep your roof clean. All right, we got most of the leaves drug off the roof. We've got this front side, that's all we're doing on this house. We got the front side treated. You can see where that lichen and moss up here is really turning yellow now. It's deader than a hammer. There's some black streaks mixed in there, so we'll need to retreat that again. Which I'd be very surprised if we didn't have to retreat the bad parts on this house, because it's been under that tree shade for so long. But you can see it's definitely doing its thing. Definitely killing all the algae and the lichen and the moss. Once that breaks down, that'll come off pretty quick. In a couple of days, if we got a good rain, that would probably get 99% of that off. In 2 or 3 days, a person could probably safely hose it off. I don't really want to hose it off today. Stuff is still, the roots have not broken down yet, but they will. It won't take them long. If you force it off there, you're risking roof damage. You can see some black in the middle of that dormer for sure. It definitely needs to be re-hit. But it looks better. It's wet, so it's still clean, and I could literally leave this roof just like it is, and it would look pretty good in a couple of weeks, but that's not how we do business. See how this side had a lot of tree cover on it, he said. You can see that one's just covered up in it. You know, really, this should have been done many years ago. I think he said this one is about 15 years old. If you're going to be in a heavy tree cover like this one was, it needs to be clean starting at probably 3 or 4 years old. Just, you know, it doesn't take a whole lot. It just needs to be cleaned every 3 or 4 years when you're in the trees. This roof will last twice as long if it was done earlier. And this will go ahead and extend the life of the roof, but all right. Here's an up close and personal look at what that lichen looks like. See, that stuff roots into the shingles. You can see the moss is the big fluffy looking balls of stuff up there that's obviously very dead. Looks kind of like cotton balls. But at any rate, all this stuff is really dead. The moss will root into the shingles, but primarily it holds moisture on the shingle, which is never good. And then this lichen stuff, there's all kinds of different types. I've seen them as this light colored one here. I've seen them 2 inches across before in a really advanced stage. But this stuff will shred your roof. Fortunately, this is a smaller stuff. So once this dies and comes off, it probably won't be that noticeable. But when those big ones like that right there, when that gets big, it'll take off a spot that big in granules. Moss will sometimes do the same thing. Here's some. This is on the south side. This tells you anytime it grows like this on the south side that you've had a lot of shade. All right, we're done. Shingle Bright signing out.